Hi, this is Danielle Daws for the Alleyway Stamps. I'm sharing a Christmas card today that uses two different Christmas stamp sets. The first is Jolly Holiday, which I'm using right here, and the second is Snow Much Fun, which I'm using the sentiment for. So first I'm just using the snowman to create 3 masks, and you'll see why I need 3 later on in the tutorial. And I've just used Stays on ink to stamp my snowman onto Express It Mask It film. The reason I'm using Stays on ink is because it won't smear. It's permanent ink. You can get it off with an alcohol wipe if you really need to get it off. But when I'm stamping on the card, because I'm going to continue using Stays on ink, it won't smear later on, which is really important. So you can see that I'm using my Fiskars stamp press, and the reason I'm using that is because when you are stamping onto Mask It, it is a little bit smooth, and so it can be a little bit slippery. So you want to make sure that you've got a firm grip on what you're doing. So I find the Fiskars stamp press just helps me with that. So I'm placing the mask over the top of my first stamped snowman. So you can see the first image that I did, I included the sentiment underneath. Then I've taken the sentiment off, and I'm going to be stamping 2 more snowmen at the back. So from here you can see it's going to look like I've stamped directly over the first snowman, and I have, but the Mask It will prevent that line from coming through, so that once I take the mask off, it will look as though the first snowman that I did, the one in the center, it will look like that one is in front. It's a really clever way to be able to add dimension, and it's fantastically easy to use as well. So you can see that's the 3 images done, and now I'm lifting up the Mask It, so you can see that's exactly what it's done, is just masked it. Okay, so onto using my Prismacolor pencils. I'm going to go quite quickly through this because most of it is about blending the different colours. So I'm just using a red and a yellow and a pumpkin orange to do these coloured bits, but the most in-depth part is going to be creating the shadows around the snowmen. So you can see there I've used, with the carrots for the noses, I've used the lighter orange and then used a deeper pumpkin orange and then blended again with the lighter orange, and it just creates that depth. So this might look a bit silly. I'm doing white over white cardstock. The reason for that is because when I go in and do my shadows, having the white laid down means that if I happen to make a mistake, or if I happen to go a little bit too far with one of the shadow colours, it won't be a problem. I can blend it out with the white pencil again. So it just makes an easy base to go on. So the colours that I'm using there to blend are in the French grey. So I've used French grey at 70% and just put it where the first shadows would be, and then gone in with French grey 10% to blend that all together, and then white, blending it all again. Then I've gone back right now with a deeper colour, so 90% French grey, to just get where those really deep shadows would be. And then back again, blending it out with the white. So I really do tend to go back and forth with the colours and just add it where it needs it. And it can be really effective. So now you'll see why I need the 3 masks. So that first mask I've put back in place, and because I use Stays on ink all the way through, those little bits aren't going to smear from where I stamped over it before. So putting my 3 masks in place so that I can effectively cover those all up. I'm also putting some Mask It down the side of the card because I want to leave that side edge white, and I'll be having a ribbon down the side. And I've also made a curved piece here that is just to give the impression of being on top of a snowy hill. So I'm not going into any great depth with creating that. I'm looking more at the colours. And so now creating the background, the sky. So I'm using a couple of different shades of blue. The first one here is Tumbled Glass, Distress Ink, and I'm just doing a very light coating all the way over. The next one is Faded Jeans. Now you can see that I'm starting on the snowman, and that's the beauty of Mask It, because it is really nice and smooth. You can continue to do the same kind of motions that you do with Distress Ink, with blending ink, as you can with the craft mat, which is why I really like it. So I'm trying to create the deepness of colour around the snowmen, going out to lighter shades. So the second colour was Faded Jeans, and then the third colour was Chipped Sapphire, just doing around the edges. Then I'm going back again with Faded Jeans and getting those all together. So you can see that it looks like I'm just adding lots and lots of colour, and I am, but it's all about doing it in the different shades. So I've also added some black soot because I found it wasn't quite deep enough for what I wanted, so I added a tiny little tiny little bit of black soot, just around the outside of the snowmen, and that worked really well. So now taking the masks off. So this is the part where you find out whether you've made any mistakes. You can see there I have got a couple of little mistakes, but I'm filling those in with my black Prismacolor pencil. Because I've got the shadows around the snowman and the deeper colours in near the snowman with the background, I can easily cover up those little missed bits just by filling in with black pencil. The other thing that I always do with my black pencil is to go over the lines, because once you've been colouring, you quite often find that the lines aren't sharp anymore, and you just need to go over them a bit. So this is some gorgeous ribbon from the Ribbon Carousel. This is May Arts ribbon, and the way I tie a bow is just having that loop flip towards me and the second one going around. And the other thing that I do when I tie bows is I manhandle it, which sounds kind of silly, but really it's just all about getting the ribbon to go the way you want it to manipulate it. I don't stick it down at first. If I do need to stick it down, that will be the last thing that I do, because I want to be able to move that ribbon around and to adjust it where I need it to be. So that's doing the bow. And this is a really cool little pen. This is a Sharpie white paint pen that I'm just adding little snowflakes with. Now you can't see it quite well on the video, but I have included white snowflakes over the front of the snowmen, so you can see a little bit on the scarves and the noses. So there it is, my finished card. Thanks very much for watching.